So this video is something a bit different to me. I've never done one of these sorts of videos. It's one of them versus videos, yeah, where they fight it out and what have you. It's all down to personal opinion really, isn't it? But as we know, you see from the title again, two of my favourite houses, Kilian and Amouage. Well, Kilian in the early days was kind of that first big niche love. Pushed me more and more to that side. In more recent times it's, well, let's just say it ain't what it was. And you can also say the same about Amouage. You know, the older ones are by far and away the better, and it's becoming more commercial. Thankfully it's not owned by Estee Lauder, but maybe L'Oreal will have their grubby fingers in it and it will just become a bit meh, like Kilian. Anyway, it's got to be comparing. It's really hard to compare like for like, but I've kind of got the nearest I possibly can in this, and obviously reasons why, etc. So yeah, we'll just crack on, don't need waffling. So first up, we've gone for a more floral fragrance, and we'll be comparing Love and Tears from Kilian with Portrayal from Amouage. Now, I think we both know these are two of my absolute favourites from the brands, never mind florals. And they're both jasmine, actually, predominantly, but they're both done in very different ways. So, Love and Tears is like jasmine, lily of the valley, and this whole kind of green jasmine meadow. It's very kind of natural kind of smelling. It's very beautiful, it's very peaceful, and it's very kind of calming. It's one of my favourite jasmine fragrances, obviously as Portrayal is, and it's just got that very natural feel about it with the soft kind of spring-like sweetness, whereas Portrayal on the other hand is this absolutely ginormous, sweeter, bigger jasmine, and it's got little hints of tuberose in it. It's a huge white floral, and it's also got lots of like smoke in there, cigarette smoke. It's got this kind of warm resinous feel. The LME's quite big, giving it a kind of some of that sweetness in there, and that kind of nice smooth base. So this is where we compare them. I suppose we should go through the pros and cons of it. Now, Love and Tears is one, it is for the warmer weather. It can't stand up in the cold really, and you could also say the same really with Portrayal. Perhaps for the colder weather, you can get away with it in the summer, just, you know, one spray. You can say that about all Amouage fragrances, can't you? One is a kind of chilled, relaxing, going for a picnic kind of thing, Love and Tears, whereas Portrayal is a big, booming night out fragrance. It's a statement maker, it's an impact maker. Because these two are so not comparable really, I should say which would be my favourite floral fragrance. I'm not going to do it like that. This may be the only one. I'm going to call it a draw between the two of them, just because they are so different. It's hard to compare. So I'm copying out this first one, and we'll call it a draw because they both serve different purposes. So that is Kilian's Love and Tears and Amouage's Portrayal. Next is a gourmand from both of them, or as near as damn it as a gourmand as you can kind of get. And I've picked from Kilian Love Don't Be Shy, and from Amouage Love Tuberose. Both got love in the name there. Now, Love Don't Be Shy, as we know, is more focused around, it's a big, sweet, massive orange blossom. That kind of moves into this kind of fluffy marshmallow thing in this beautiful sea of sweet, thick orange blossom. Now, Love Tuberose is a slightly different vibe. so I think it's chantilly cream in it, maybe. And it has this almost ice creamy feel, but it doesn't lean too gourmand because obviously there's tuberose. I get lily in it as well as kind of spice, big petally thing with the tuberose, and it kind of this one could be any seasons, again one spray. And the same with Love Don't Be Shy, it's pretty much whenever, again one spray in the heat. And it is a beautiful one. It's certainly an iconic one. It's one that really got the name out there for Kilian, isn't it? So where do I sit with both of them? They are similar but smell nothing alike, in the sense that they're big, rich, luxurious gourmands without being overly sweet or foody. Now what I'm going to go for with this one and give the point Amouage is Love Tuberose, and that's because it's ultimately more interesting. The fact there's lily in there and there's a kind of greenness, and it's not just this kind of thick, rich, ice creamy thing. It's actually a fragrance that's quite easy to wear, and it's very likable. It's not quite as massive. Now Love Don't Be Shy, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that orange blossom DNA has been copied so many times, hasn't it? Endlessly. All we smell is in orange blossom world now is something that smells like Love Don't Be Shy, isn't it? And it's just like, oh, not again. I do seem to be lost here, I don't know where I'm going. but yeah, that's the reason why. There's nothing wrong with Love Don't Be Shy. I just think Love Tuberose stands out nowadays as being more unique and is more interesting. So yeah, 1 point to Amouage. Next up we have the spicy ones. So I've gone for Intoxicated from Kilian, which is kind of a legendary coffee fragrance. There's cardamom, nutmeg. It's kind of a little bit chocolatey. It's really nice, and it's really well done as well, actually. The reformulation is what you'd expect from an Estee Lauder reformulation. It's gone, but we'll compare this to the version of Intoxicated I have, and it's a beautiful spicy coffee. Maybe it's not fair to call it a coffee, more of a mocha one. There's definitely that kind of chocolatey feel there. Now Jubilation 25 man, if you like, is a resinous, spicy, you know, old-fashioned spice train kind of masterpiece of a fragrance. It's just lots of spices. There's some dried fruits in there, give it this beautiful kind of boozy feel. There's the resins in the bottom, like shining, smooth, golden, rich, luxurious, and it literally does smell like a spice store in a desert or something. It's so good. It's one of my favourites there. I will end up one day with a bottle of this. So well done. Now, again, these are... is it fair to compare them? Yes, they are completely different and do different things on different occasions. But I think, again, Intoxicated was, you know, some may say quite similar to Amen. Yeah, it's fair enough. Whereas Jubilation 25 it's not the most unique thing in the world, but it's so well done. The Intoxicated you can get from other brands, similar kind of things, similar idea, much cheaper. Whereas I think Jubilation 25, you're going to struggle to match it and beat it. It's a magnificently beautiful fragrance and has that class. It's probably, you would wear it to dress up, but I also think it's suitable for more occasions. Whereas Intoxicated is your kind of cold night one, and I suppose it's starting, that DNA and that's starting to smell maybe a little more dated and less wow. Don't get me wrong, again, I love Intoxicated, but yeah, the point goes to Jubilation 25 from Amouage. So we're going to go for a fresh here. And what I've got to compare is Flower of Immortality from Kilian to Reflection Man from Amouage. They are very different. Now, from Kilian, Flower of Immortality is one of my favourite fresh ones. I believe it is in the Fresh collection, or I don't think it's in the Narcotic. It doesn't matter. It's a fresh fragrance. It's basically like, might be osmanthus, jasmine, things like that. I'm not sure. There's florals, but it's predominantly this kind of watery, peachy feel in there, and it makes you think of beautiful flowers along a river, like a fresh, cool river on a summer's day with all these flowers and the fruits kind of exuding off their nectar and that beautiful kind of smell. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it does feel kind of refreshing and peaceful and really enjoyable. Now, whereas Reflection Man, maybe Amouage's most popular kind of easy one, Reflection Man is jasmine. There's some aromatic notes in there, and some say it has a bit of a feel of Le Mal. Yeah, I see what you mean. They're not the same. By far, they're very different. I think Reflection Man is far more floral than Le Mal, but I get the kind of similarities that people pick out in it. Reflection Man is your kind of white shirt fragrance. It's very easy wearing floral. It's basically just jasmine with some aromatic notes, and it's clean. It's really easy going, really easy to wear. If you're going to start trying Amouage, this will be one you'd say, yeah, go for this one first, because it's not challenging remotely. It's very likeable. Now, out of these two, which do I prefer? Again, they're quite hard to compare, but I'm going to go for Flower of Immortality this time from Kilian. I think it's just such an ethereal, beautiful, easy, not obnoxious one to wear. The flowers in this are so summery and peaceful, and the peach and that kind of fruitiness just adds this kind of feel to it, if you get what I mean. Whereas Reflection Man, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, it's quite a boring floral. It's not, I mean, I don't think Amouage were the first. Well, like I say, there's Le Mal. It's been done before. It's the best of that type of fragrance, if you like, a kind of aromatic white floral. But it's not exciting, it doesn't, and again, you can save yourself lots of money getting similar ones cheaper, whereas the Kilian isn't the most unique in the world, but it's certainly something you don't smell every day. Again, I love Reflection Man. I'm not dissing it, but out of these two, it's Kilian. Next is classic style, that kind of vintage nod. To be fair, Amouage is much older than Kilian and does come from the 80s. So obviously some of their fragrances will have that nod, because that's when they were made. And maybe it's unfair to compare these, but I'm going to anyway, because they actually both have fairly similar DNAs-ish. They spell, yeah, I'll get into it. Woman in Gold is the Kilian, which is, I don't know if there's aldehydes listed, but it's kind of aldehydic, white floral, bit of rose, that kind of nod back to, say, the late 80s. It's not the same, but it does have a certain Chanel feel to it. Obviously, with the citruses and the flowers and the patchouli and the kind of aldehydes, and it's clean and it's easy, and it does take you back to kind of remembering them days, if you like. And it's really nice and really enjoyable. It's a very, when you say mature, people take it in the wrong way, don't they? It's not an old person fragrance, but I can see someone with a bit more confidence and a bit more kind of been about a bit longer really going for this one. There were so many to pick from Amouage. If it had been Dear Woman, we know which way that's going to go, so I'll pick Gold Woman. Now Gold Woman again isn't as white floral, but it's aldehydic. It's got, there's a lot of rose. It's kind of, we'll talk about the dry down more, kind of dries down into a kind of violety, rosy powderiness with them lovely aldehydes fizzing through it. They're kind of naughty. I mean, again, the versions I've smelt aren't the ancient versions, but a kind of naughty warmth from a civet. It's that same period of time, if you like. This gets compared to Chanel No. 5. Again, I don't think so. I think Gold Man is more that way. But it has that nod there. It has a similar kind of feel, and it's very classy and very elegant and very, very well done. Now comparing them, it's really tricky this. I find Gold Woman easier to wear personally, because there's something a little bit sharp in there about Woman in Gold for me. It's not, that doesn't make it bad, it's just we know how my tastes are. So I'm going to give it to Gold Woman. And to be fair, Woman in Gold isn't a legend. Gold Woman is a living legend, and it's pretty much where it all started for Amouage and that. So that's why, and I just enjoy wearing it more. It suits me more, although I do really love Woman in Gold. So yeah, a point to Amouage. Now the next is the more unique. Now I was going to go for one of the Russian fragrances from Kilian, but I thought is that really a fair kind of comparison, because they're unique to me, but that kind of DNA and it's a lot of use of lychee and notes that we don't often get in more European style perfumery. So it was really tricky with deciding what to go for and what is considered kind of unique. Now I've gone for Moonlight in Heaven because I don't think there is any fragrance I've ever smelled anything like it. It's not weird or wacky or out there, but it's basically this kind of dry woody coconut, grapefruit, mango, and rice running through it. Now rice isn't used a lot, is it? And it kind of becomes this kind of grainy, woody fragrance with the dry coconut and the sweetness from the grapefruit and the mango. And it's a summer nights one, but it's not something you're going to smell everywhere, and there's not lots of versions of this DNA out there. So yeah, I think it stands as being unique. And I'm going to compare that with a Myths Woman from Kilian, which is a dry, decaying vase full of flowers, particularly lilies, although lily I don't believe is listed again, tuberoses, jasmine, that kind of thing. There might be some carnation in there as well. And again, they kind of, to what we used to nowadays, push us that way. It has a kind of beautiful floral opening, and it becomes more this watery vase water of the decaying flowers. It's one I've spoken about a lot, so we don't need to. Now comparing them is tricky, because again, Moonlight in Heaven is a very unique DNA. There isn't anything like it, but it doesn't blow your mind. I love the fragrance. It's one of my favourites from Kilian. It's one again I own a bottle of. I think I have with all of these, but it just doesn't wow you. Even when I first got it, it's not one that you go, wow, what the hell is this? Whereas Myths Woman, of course it wows you. Decaying flowers, resins, I mean, that's such a kind of Amouage thing to do, isn't it, with the incense through it and everything. So maybe an unfair comparison. And again, had I done one of the Russian ones, again, I don't think they wow you with their strangeness or their out there-ness. So it's a fair comparison. It's obviously Myth's Woman. So yeah, Myth's Woman from Amouage gets the point there. Next is their signatures, if you like, the fragrances that the brands are most famous for. From Kilian, of course, it's Straight to Heaven, which is cedar, patchouli, a little bit of rum, and that kind of feel with it. It is predominantly cedar and patchouli though, and it goes together very well, and it's very classy, super elegant. It's super, you know, something your stereotypical Frenchman would wear, you know, going to the pub in his tuxedo and bow tie and all of that. It is extremely elegant and classy, and it's a very distinctive DNA. There are nowadays things that are similar to it, but I don't think any of them come close. When you smell Straight to Heaven, you know that that's Straight to Heaven, and it is the best of that type. Now with Amouage, probably their most famous one to us all, not Stupid Guidance and these mass appealing ones, is Interlude Man. Now Interlude Man, what's an interesting fragrance. It's a Popanax, it's burning resins, it's a massive smoke. It's you know, you can almost smell the embers burning away, and imagine this bonfire collapsing round with plumes of smoke and the sweet heavenly resins. But what it does have in it is oregano, burning bitter oregano, not oregano, oregano. And it's for me, it's not my cup of tea, but again, fantastically unique. When you smell it, you will know almost instantly that this must be even if you've never smelled it, this must be Interlude from Amouage. It's very distinctive. Again, their signature, most famous one, maybe not popular one anymore. There are at least 2 flankers of it now. No doubt there'll be even more, because it's, you know, cashing on what's big now, because that's the way the brand's going. But it's another masterpiece, like Straight to Heaven could almost be said. Now the weird thing when comparing these two is what you may have noticed. I ain't a fan of either of them. I don't love either of them. I couldn't wear either of them. I've got the Straight to Heaven Extreme, which is a lot more smoother. The vanilla, the rum is amped up, so it's smoother, it's less patchouli dominant and grainy and earthy, so I prefer that. And Interlude, I don't really prefer any of the flankers. They are all practically the same, to be honest with you. But I love the Popanax in that. Now, how do you compare these two? Who do I give the point to for having the best signature? Again, it has to go to Amouage, and I know this feels like it's all rigged, but Interlude Man is so distinctive. You can see why, even though I don't love it, it's a masterpiece. There's nothing like it. If the burning herbs weren't in it, it could be one of my favourites, easily. It's an incredible fragrance. So yeah, the point goes to Amouage. And finally, is what I personally define as the greatest from them both. Doesn't necessarily mean, well, it does sort of mean some of my favourites. The ones that really stand out from all other fragrances from the brand, and just in the perfume world in general. Now for Kilian, you knew it was going to be in here somewhere, is Rolling in Love, which is just musks, musky heaven, musk, ambrette. There's some tuberose, there's a little bit of kind of almond milk there, soft skin, love, raunchy times, just the best musk fragrance there is, in my opinion. It's magnificent. It has a kind of red cherryish smell, again probably from the more almondy kind of notes in there. Masterpiece, fantastic. And weirdly, again, I'm going to compare it to Silver Oud, Opus XIII from Amouage, which is predominantly, I think it might be, it's the oud from where the tea comes from, it'll come to me. This smooth, beautiful, magnificent woody oud. It's so good. I just had the tea, it'll come to me. Mixed with, in the opening, there's quite a lot of castoreum, which gives it this mucky, lovely, heavenly feel. It doesn't kind of last through it. And then there's silver birch. And I always say a bit of iris. There's like these silver silk strands going through it, which gives it this kind of, I get the silvery kind of feel to it. And the smokiness, and I don't know if that's from the birch, but it's like a silver smoke, a silver veil round it all. Just, it's heaven. And it's probably their nearest I've smelt that kind of has that traditional Middle Eastern kind of feel to it. Why can't I remember the damn place with the tea? It'll come to me. So, putting them together, these two seem completely uncomparable. One's a massive, smoky, huge, woody, elegant beast. The other is this delicate kisses down the neck and fingertips through your hair and heavenly musks. So it's a draw, of course it is. I can't pick between these two, and they're not really fair comparing them. Both completely different kind of DNAs and that. I mean, you could call like Silver Oud the one you go out to, you know, doesn't really happen this, fragrances don't attract people, but you know, go make your impression. Hey, I'm some rich guy wearing this this oud and what have you, and then Rolling in Love is the kind of the result of that, you know, the loving and the passion after it. So yeah, that's a draw between them two. So it doesn't need to be a big waffly kind of ending, does it really? Well, you've probably worked it out from that, nobody's counted. It was 7-4, 7-3 to Amouage. This doesn't mean that Kilian is, you know, is not equally as good or bad as Amouage. What it just means is maybe they were unfair comparisons, perhaps, or I do prefer Amouage to Kilian nowadays. But like I said, Amouage are now moving to be more mainstream. So I did this in 5 years or so with newer fragrances. I mean, I could like none of them. Quite frankly, if you know we're going to go Love Tuberose way, or any of the, not Love Tuberose, Love Delight, or any of the new Kilians, both kind of substandard really, especially if Amouage gets taken over by a conglomerate or it gets shares in it. It's the death of the brand really, isn't it? As we know, I mean, that's what's killed Kilian, good old Estee Lauder. Well, it's all subjective, isn't it? What about you? Where would you have put these fragrances? Do you have a preference from the brands? How would your two like most owned fragrances compare with each other? So yeah, don't need it going on forever, do we? Right, folks, thanks for watching. I mean, I might do another one of these one day, something boring like Dior, Chanel. I own quite a few of them. Or compare my favourite indie brands. Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, that would be a good one for me to do, but that will be a difficult one. You can't see it was a big massive raven up there. It's lovely. Well, you can just about make it out there. Right, anyway, right, bye.